particularly herbal medicine in West Africa. The first two Nigerians to qualify in modern medicine were Africanus Horton and Broughton Davis. And Africanus Horton wrote a thesis in 1859 for the University of Edinburgh entitled The Medical Topography of the West Coast of Africa with sketches of its botany. Sketches of its botany was devoted to herbal medicine in West Africa. Africanus also mentioned the use of mangrove tree, bark of the mangrove tree in Gambia for treating fevers. He mentioned the use of unripe pawpaw in Sierra Leone for treating intestinal parasites. He mentioned the use of asafoetida for treating guinea worm in Gold Coast, which is Ghana. He went on and on. And I've seen many examples of herbs that are therapeutic, of proven therapeutic, or potential therapeutic value, waiting to be discovered by researchers. 30 years after him came Obadiah Johnson, a Yoruba of Lagos, who qualified in medicine in 1884. And he came back to practice in Lagos and neighboring Yoruba country. And what did he find? He found that traditional medicine, herbal medicine, that was the prop of medicine in those areas. And again, brilliant man Obadiah Johnson, he wrote a thesis titled West African Therapeutics, which he sent to Edinburgh and for which he got an MD. And his own contribution to herbal medicine was the use of the velvet tree called the Yoruba Dokuje, the name of this plant. And as the name sounds, it is one that Obadiah Johnson found useful in sedating the uterus when there's too much fetal movement in pregnancy. And he advised his colleagues that whenever they found any useful plant, they should hurry to the laboratory to find out the pieces of therapy that they are using. Then came another Nigerian, a Yoruba man, Lee Sodipe, who wrote his own MD thesis in 1897. He used capsicum for headaches, popularized the use of capsicum for headache, and he made one very fundamental statement about science and the traditional medicine, that whenever a disease is indigenous to a particular part of the world, the cure is usually very near, not very far away, but you need very erudite, a very diligent, a very astute researcher to find out. And this has been borne out by our experience with civil service. Fagara was found, the root of Fagara, which the Yorubas used as twisting, discovered by Isaac Shude, many of you know, and Chokora, that this Fagara Oriata has the capacity to reduce, to minimize the incidence of crisis in civil services. Then came back to a whole long list of what we call the mosquito plants. There are plants that can be used to treat malaria or even to prevent the bite of the mosquito or the infection pox. Then there was the Osimon Mirili, which is called definitely among the Yorubas. And in Sierra Leone, they use it to drink tea, which they call bush tea, but it's definitely that is substance. So it's on and on and on. And the last Nigerian, the qualified medicine in the 19th century was Oguntola Samara. He came to Lagos. And again, he was very interested in traditional medicine. He was very interested in herbal medicine. And during the influenza epidemic of 1918, he came across news. Also, he found that some plants, which is the warfare, Yoruba fair, name is was very, very useful treatment of liberal conversion during that. Now, there are other books that say the European medical officer in Lagos in 1937 put together all these books, useful plant of West Africa, which embodies drugs of the plants that have therapeutic value. And more recently, Abayomi Chifura wrote his book again on medicinal plants that are useful in Nigeria. Abayomi Chifura worked with I think it's retired. And I come book we buy here. The late Bundola of the Department of Surgery, found that the better plant grown in Kwara State has potential anti-cancer properties. And under the guidance of Professor Ungo, the head of surgery then, who was an oncologist, they found that this better can prevent from the growth of certain tumors and adenovirus. Dr. Bundola got a PhD at I say all this, but you can read more about this in my book titled The Nigerian Pioneers of Modern Medicine, Selected Writings, which was published by the University Press in 1977. Now, I said very little about this. The problem that is now bugging us, what is worrying us now, is how to integrate orthodox medicine and traditional medicine. Traditional medicine is as old as humanity. The good book tells us that God created medicine as we have. So, traditional medicine has been forth right from the beginning of time. Orthodox medicine came after. And now there's a plan to integrate. The late Professor Lambo, the late Victor Awoshika, they found that 60% of patients who come to hospital to be treated along the lines of Western medicine use at one time or the other traditional medicine. And now there's a clamor, there's a call it from government. Why don't we integrate two different private and calling on government to do something about integration of the orthodox medicine and traditional medicine. It is revealed by an article by Shadi Odintola accusing government that government has not done enough. Government is not doing enough to integrate these two systems. The old system, the traditional medicine is an anti-diluvian practice which has begun from the beginning of time. Why do we integrate it? And there was a workshop at IFE, and the stakeholders of the actually suggested to the government, why don't you institute, why don't you make a course, a model that teaches traditional medicine, even medical students when they're in university, and that this can be brought next to the curriculum of medical school to allow integration. And the indigenous Africa, and on page, actually, on page 3, is making it clear that this workshop is different. You have to integrate. And the way to do that is to make sure that medical students know about this traditional medicine, this herbal medicine, right from this medical school. That was, again, that book published by the Catechism article, pleading that I didn't know that as a colleague as a colleague in Abuja, Nigerian college for the study of complementary and alternative medicine. I believe that as it grows down, we're now urging government to kindly make sure that real thing that happens. So Professor Hakuman, thank you for this book, which Orthodox medicine. Your book, this book, yeah, I'm sure that this is my copy, that this book would be a very, very useful reference in government effort, government initiative, amalgamate Orthodox medicine. That's number one. Number two, Nigeria is a polyglot country. Polyglots speak well over 200 languages. Professor Ebola has succeeded to let us know the practices of traditional medicine among the Europeans. There are many other tongues in Nigeria. And this one will be a very good lead for other ethnic groups in Nigeria. Come forward and let us know the traditional medicine is practiced in there. So, brief comment, I hope it's brief now. Just again, congratulate to wish him success and to wish this book a lot of success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You agree with me that you have come for an additional lecture, and I will personally get a copy of the recorded lecture, because they are not things that you can easily get. It's in a lecture, it's in a full lecture that you can get such materials. We appreciate you, sir, for the wealth of experience that you have shared. And you agree with me that Baba is very current in this area, citing references, and at times we begin to wonder what some of our colleagues in the new generation read when you see people refreshing their minds or their knowledge in this area. We appreciate you, sir. Before we go to the next item, I would like to recognize the presence of the Dean, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences of Obafemi Awolowo University, Professor K. Adelusoli, to the front seat here. We want you to come. You're welcome, sir. Please encourage him to come forward. Of Physiological Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo University, Dr. Ayoka, is the acting head, Department of Physiology, Lagos. I also have Dr. Saladi, the acting head, Department of Physiology, Lagos State University. Please join them as you are. One of our teachers, one of the colleagues of Professor Yebola, and a professor of zoology, retired now, Professor Fagade. You are welcome, sir. The next item is the citation of the special guest of honor, represented by the Provost College of Medicine, Afe Babalola University. I have the pleasure of inviting my dear sister, Dr. Abimbola Aibu, to read the citation of Are Afe Babalola.
Distinguished guests on the high table, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to read the profile of our father, grandfather, and special guest of honor of today's occasion, our Afe Babalola, ably represented by the Provost of the College of Medicine, Dr. Sawyer. Thank you for standing. Are Emmanuel Afe Babalola, BSc Economics London, LLB Honours London, BL, OFR, CON, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Fellow, Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, Fellow, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, LLD, is not only an epitome of excellence, but an exceptional thinker and master planner, who, though from a very humble background, has succeeded in reaching the pinnacle of his career. The Are attended Emmanuel Primary School in Ado-Ekiti. In spite of his outstanding intellectual capability and offer of admission to Christ School Ado-Ekiti, the opportunity of having secondary school education eluded this brilliant, exceptional man due to lack of funds. He therefore had no option than to start the uphill task of climbing the academic ladder without secondary education. He obtained Cambridge School certificate, GCE Ordinary and Advanced Level Certificates of London University, BSc Economics, London University, and LLB Honours of London University, all by private study. A legal luminary of outstanding brilliance, Are Afe Babalola was called to Dubai in England in 1963. He is a member of Lincoln's Inn, London, a registered member of Bar of England and Wales, and a most distinguished member of the Nigerian Bar. Are Afe Babalola cut his teeth in legal practice in the chambers of Olu, Ayola, from where he doggedly continued the legal practice until 1965, when he proceeded to establish the firm of Chief Afe Babalola and Co., Emmanuel Chambers, reputed as one of the leading firms in Nigeria today. He took the silk and was admitted into the inner bar as a Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN, in 1987. He is a holder of the prestigious award of the Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, OFR, and Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. Are Afe Babalola, OFR, CON, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has been in legal practice for 50 years and is an active member of the International Bar Association. He is a fellow of the Leadership Institute of Nigeria. He is a member of the Privileges Committee of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, a body that appoints senior advocates. He was the Pro-Chancellor of the University of Lagos between 2001 and 2008, where he established transparency, discipline, and integrity. In the white paper issued on the Visitation Panel Report on University of Lagos, the federal government stated that the leadership style of Chief Afe Babalola was exemplary. He acted commendably by paying his bills anytime he chose to stay in an hotel, by donating his sitting allowance to the University Endowment Fund. The Nigerian University Commissions also adjudged UNILAG as the best university in 2006. He won the award of the best Pro-Chancellor of all Nigerian universities in 2005 and 2006. He was the chairman of the Committee of 85 Pro-Chancellors. In appreciation of his invaluable contributions, the University of Ibadan awarded the University of Lagos awarded him an honorary Doctor of Letters degree just 3 weeks ago. an advocate for excellence, Ariafe Babalola has made outstanding contributions to the development of Nigerian law and jurisprudence through his eclectic advocacy in court, evident from the numerous celebrated cases which he has handled, and the notable personalities who are his clients. Several intellectual works can be credited to him, among which are injunctions and enforcement orders, law and practice of evidence in Nigeria, enforcement of judgments, election and practice, and university administration. All of these have contributed immensely to the promotion of legal education and practice in Nigeria. He has authored over 500 articles in several books and law journals. He has delivered brilliant and diverse lectures at various events. He was a lecturer at the Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, the highest institute for the study of law, the LLM class at the University of Ibadan, and the Center of African Law and Development Studies, Lagos. He was also the author of You and the Law, a column published by the Nigerian Tribune newspaper on Mondays. His autobiography, titled Impossibility Made Possible, has been described as an extensive and tremendous book, written in his unmistakable style and stories comparable only to Greek myths, and which book explains Ariafe Babalola's passionate embrace of philanthropy as the instrument of social re-engineering. A patron of several law student societies, legal institutions, and corporate bodies, Ariafe Babalola has assisted over 2,000 lawyers in numerous ways. He has trained over 500 lawyers and produced 14 senior advocates of Nigeria, the largest number from any in Nigeria. He has produced several judges and attorneys general at state and federal levels. His experience a number of years in uninterrupted legal practice have equipped him with versatility in most areas of law. He is a solicitor and consultant to several conglomerates in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Counsel to federal government in the 2.8 billion inquiry of 1981, and counsel to the federal government of Nigeria between 1999 and 2007. Ariafe Babalola is an arbitrator of repute and is actively involved in domestic and international arbitrations. He is the incumbent president of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators of Nigeria. Ariafe Babalola owns a huge library, a huge law library, strongly devoted to the advancement of law and legal practice in Nigeria. He is widely reputed as the advocate who never fails to unravel a knotty issue. In September 2007, Ariafe Babalola was awarded the prestigious Queen Victoria's Commemorative Medal in Oxford, United Kingdom European Business Assembly, for his philanthropic activities and achievements in the University of Lagos. He is also a member of European Club of Rectors. A philanthropist of exceptional calling, Ariafe Babalola has donated buildings, equipment, and scholarships worth billions of naira. His passion for development in general is matchless, as exemplified in his service to the community through several donations worth over 2 billion. Babalola believes in investing in the youth and developing the needy. He has trained over 1,000 lawyers, among which are judges, ministers, attorneys general, and 14 senior advocates of Nigeria who have passed through his chambers. Ààrẹ Babalola's life is a living sermon to anyone who cherishes honesty, hard work, kind-heartedness, and all-round excellence. No wonder the author of the book we are launching today, though in the medical discipline, testifies that he has been greatly motivated to strive for greater excellence by his contact with Ààrẹ Babalola. He has acknowledged this fact in the book we are launching today. A man of many parts, Ààrẹ Babalola owns a huge farm with over 1 million teak trees, palm trees, oranges, and other permanent crops, as well as 2 huge man-made lakes and 10 ponds with over 75,000 fishes at any point in time. Ààrẹ Babalola is indeed an accomplished frontline lawyer, an astute administrator, a big-time farmer, a matchless philanthropist, a great motivator, a mentor, and a leading educationist in the country today. He is the founder and proprietor of the most beautiful, most comprehensive, and most modern university in Nigeria today, Afe Babalola University, which has been described by NUC as the best thing to have happened to education in this part of the world and a benchmark for other universities. Thank you very much.
While our recitation was being read, the dean of the best postgraduate school in Nigeria arrived. It's good to sing your own praises. At least I heard in that citation that one university was given the award of the best thing that happened to Nigeria. The best postgraduate school that has ever happened to Nigeria is the University of Ibadan. As the dean of that postgraduate school is here. Join me, ladies and gentlemen, to the front seat here. We want to see you in the prominent area. You're welcome, sir. That citation, by the time we are doing the launching, the representative of Ààrẹ, we are trying to allow you to pull down so that by the time we are doing the launching, we will gather enough steam to be able to address us. So we will address us at that point. We now come to gradually to the reason why we're here, the introduction of the author. The citation of the author will be read by one of the people close to the author, who have worked with the author, and will be able to say a number of things on the author. Join me in welcoming Dr. Mrs. Elsie Olofunke Adewoye as she reads this.
Distinguished members of the Council, distinguished guests here present, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to read the citation of this great author. Just as was said, I have been privileged to relate with him on several occasions. The chairperson has made my work simple because he spoke at length and said quite a bit on the information about the author. But all righteousness must be fulfilled. It will be a disservice not to read the citation of the author, the man who invited all of us to this place. So I humbly ask that the author stands. Professor D.D. Oyebola, I'll tell you the details. Professor David Dada Oyewusi Oyebola was born on October 1st, 1945 in Ogotu, in Ekiti State, in this country, Nigeria. Professor Oyebola attended the famous Christ School at Ekiti between 1960 up to, Professor Oyebola attended the famous Christ School at Ekiti between 1960 and 1964. He proceeded to the University of Ibadan in 1965 and graduated with a BSc Medical Science in Physiology with a first-class honors in 1969. He obtained the MBBS in 1972 and obtained MD in 1978. He was a demonstrator in physiology from 1968 to 1972. In July 1973, he took up full teaching appointment in physiology as lecturer 2 and has been a professor of physiology since 1983. Professor Oyebola had postdoctoral experience in Guy's Hospital and King's College Hospital Medical Schools in London, United Kingdom, and the University of Toronto. This is real Toronto in Canada. This was in 1980 to 1981. He has been external examiner in all the medical schools in Nigeria and the University of Ghana Medical School. He's also an examiner for West African Postgraduate Medical College and the National Postgraduate Medical College, Nigeria. Until recently, he sits on the International Union of Physiological Sciences, IUPS, the body that oversees the development of education of physiology worldwide. He was the first editor of the Nigerian Journal of Physiological Sciences and president of Physiological Society of Nigeria, 1990 to 1994. He has been head of Physiology Department at Ibadan for several years and Dean of the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences for 3 years, 1990 to 1993. He was the pioneer Provost, College of Medicine, University of Ado-Ekiti. Professor Oyebola mentored many physiologists in Nigeria, some of whom are now professors of physiology in many universities. Professor Oyebola's main research interests are on the role of the post absorptive gastrointestinal tract in glucose hemostasis. He also worked on pathophysiology of traditional drugs in the treatment of convulsion in Nigerian children. Part of his area of interest is also in medical education. He has published several articles in reputable international journals on these subjects. Professor Oyebola is the sole author of a number of academic, spiritual, and inspirational books. He has also contributed chapters in a number of books on traditional African medicine, which also include cow's urine poisoning in Nigeria, and this is in toxicology in the tropics, edited by Harry Smith and E. Babahuni. He also wrote on medical politics in Nigeria. In the professionalization of African medicine, and this book is edited by M. Last and G.I. Shabuduka in Manchester. He has also authored over 70 publications in his chosen area of interest or research. Professor Oyebola is married with children. His hobbies include table tennis, badminton, and photography. Those that are close to him will know that he really loves photography. I present the author of this book today, Professor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. In any book launch, there must be a preview, a review, and people who actually know about the content of the book are called to review the book. This case is not an exception. In the Yoruba adage, it is often said that you don't know Oyo more than the Oloyo himself. But I want to tell you there may be little exceptions where somebody may know the Oloyo, the Oyo, the same way as the Oloyo himself. As the reviewer is being called, you will either judge whether he knows the Oyo more than the Oloyo himself or not. The book reviewer for this month, or this afternoon, is the Dean of Students, University of Ibadan. I said earlier, he's an academic son of the author. I humbly invite Professor Abdulrazak Akiola Alada for the review.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Let me start. The chairman, who has been aptly called the professor of professor of professor, a very distinguished professor in his own right, Professor Adeloye, with due respect, sir. The distinguished author of today's book, Professor Didio Oyebola, and his amiable wife, the immediate past Vice Chancellor of Osun State University, Professor Akinwumi, the representative of His Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State, our own chief, High Chief of Ibadan land, our own Dr. Obembe, and the representative of the special guest of honor, the Provost, College of Medicine, Afe Babalola University. Permit me, I recognize all other members of the high table, our distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that Professor Oyebola is not just my teacher, my father, my friend, but is also my mentor and motivator. So for me, it is a great honor and privilege to be invited here this morning or this afternoon to come and review what has come out from his intellectual armament. I want to believe that what I'm doing today is part of the mentoring. And so, I believe he's still at work. Having said that, the first interest of any careful reader of this book, when we go through the book, what we first of all interest you is the curiosity to know the meeting point between Western medicine and traditional medicine. This curiosity becomes intensified when you get to know that the author of the book himself is a Western-trained medical doctor who has shown more than a passing interest in traditional medicine. The author of this book, Professor D.D. Oyebola, recognizes that the vast majority of Nigerians patronize traditional healers to obtain health care. He therefore decided to research on African traditional medicine, especially as practiced by the Yoruba of Nigeria. I must say that the author himself is a full-fledged Yoruba man from Nigeria, and not that one. The book, African Traditional Medicine, Practices Among the Yoruba of Nigeria, is a product of many years of highly intensive, serious research activity by the author, and many others whom the author himself has acknowledged profusely in the book. It is a one-volume book made up of 424 pages and is divided into 11 carefully selected distinctive chapters, apart from the bibliography and the appendices. The bibliography is made up of 273 references. The 11 chapters are 1. Introduction and background information, Yoruba traditional medicine, mixture of magic, medicine, and religion. 3. Classification of traditional healers. 4. Training of traditional healers. 5. Methods of diagnosis and investigation of diseases by the healers. Number 6, the sixth chapter is healers' knowledge of the causes, symptoms, signs, and treatment of diseases. And chapter 7 is on obstetrics and gynecology in traditional medicine. Chapter 8 deals with traditional bone setting and other forms of traditional surgery. And chapter 9 is on healers' knowledge of pharmacology, Yoruba pharmacopedia. And chapter 10 is on some aspects of traditional healers and their practice. And lastly, the last chapter is on hospitals and healers, the meeting point. The book was written in a simple but elusive descriptive language that is not difficult to understand. Though the book has been written in English language, the writer finds it convenient in many cases to use the vernacular, that is Yoruba, in place of English words to emphasize and convey adequate